What's going on? I'm back again with another episode for y'all. Hope y'all having a beautiful Friday. Happy Friday. Happy Friday. Happy Friday. Happy Friday. I hope y'all tuning in to a happy Friday. Listen, I hope you're having a beautiful Friday, a wonderful Friday, a fabulous Friday. Um, it's getting so bittersweet, man, because this is we're getting real close to ending the season one of Movies with Tay. And my plan is when I bring back Movies with Tay season two for y'all, that I amplify it, I bring more to y'all, and I maximize the engagement with you guys is what I'm hoping for. Um, so with the and I'm gonna keep it as it's been traditional to what I've always done. But when I bring back Movies with Tay, I do have a different approach that I'm going to take. So once the 60th episode drops, we'll stop doing Movies with Tay, and then we'll start doing TV shows with Tay, where I'm gonna probably introduce something a little new to TV shows with Tay. Um, but yeah, I plan on bringing you guys some great content. Got a second channel coming on the way still. Just working out the kinks with that, and getting stuff aligned with that. I've been streaming also. You can find me streaming on TikTok and also on Twitch. You'll just click the links in my bio and you'll find me. Wherever you find one, you'll find the other ones, I promise you. But, you know, your host always, wants to make sure that I'm engaging with you guys and bringing you, good content and everything. So, as I've said, I've always been appreciative to anyone and everyone who tunes in week after week for me. So, uh, you guys deserve your flowers for tuning in with me and sticking with me. Be prepared for the channel to have a split or a shift pretty soon, because there'll be channels that'll do one thing and channels that do another pretty soon. So just be prepared for it. I'm telling you up front. So don't be shocked when it happens, because I'm telling you up front. But without further ado, your host with the most needs to jump right into it, because I don't want to take up too much unnecessary time rambling on and on and on about stuff that you're going to see in the near future when it happens. So let's jump right into it and let's get to talking about what we came to talk about here today. So this is Movies with Tay. This is episode 53. The movie we're talking about was requested by Mr. Marlon Bellamy. It's the Five Heartbeats. One thing about me is if I tell you I'm going to do it, I'm going to do it. Five Heartbeats. 2 hour and 2 minute movie running time. Released on March 29th, 1991. The director is Robert Townsend. The producer is also Robert Townsend. And Larithia C. Jones and Larithia Ampa. You can watch this movie on YouTube TV, Google Play Movies and TV, Amazon Prime, and Fandango at home. Once again, you can watch this on YouTube TV, Google Play Movies and TV, Amazon Prime, and Fandango at home. Now, the movie had a star-studded cast, to say the least. However, there's only a few people who, I'm going to shed some light on. Primarily, I'm going to give some honorable mentions, but let me stop doing all that yapping. Let's jump into it. So, of course, we're going to start off. We got Robert Townsend as Duck. We got Leon Robinson as JT. We got Michael Wright as Eddie Kang. Uh, Jerry Lennox as Dresser. Tico Wills as Choir Boy. Hawthorne James as Big Red Davis. Diane Carroll as Eleanor Potter. And Chuck Patterson as Jimmy Potter. Some honorable mentions: Mr. John Witherspoon as Wild Rudy. Arnold Johnson as Mr. Matthews, that's Duck and JT's father. And we got Paul Benjamin as Mr. King, that was Eddie's father. Also, if you don't know, Paul Benjamin also is Whispers from uh, Hoodlum. I think that's the name of the movie, Hoodlum, if I'm not mistaken. When he tells, oh boy, tell him a joke, he go, tell me a joke. That's Whispers. John Canada Terrell as Michael, aka Flash. Harold Nicholas as Ernest, aka Sarge, I believe, or Sage. It was either Sarge or Sage. I really don't remember what they called him. I thought it was Sarge, but the thing credit said Sage, so I don't know. I could be wrong. Um, but that is the crew and the honorable mentions I wanted to give out to you guys. Uh, Once again, as I said in the beginning, I'm gonna keep on saying I appreciate everyone who tunes in week after week. I appreciate everyone who subscribes, shows your girl some love. We're growing slowly but surely, but the point is we're growing, and I appreciate it, and I love everyone for it. Thank you. I really truly appreciate it. So, y'all know the second segment. Get to talking about the movie. We recap the movie. So if we recap this movie, The Five Heartbeats opens up with the main character Duck, because that's what I consider Duck, the main character. I feel like Duck was the main character throughout the movie. Just to be honest, the whole team was the movie, but Duck to me was the primary focus almost. And I'll get to that in a second as to why, if I remember. So, movie opens up with Duck looking at a magazine of the Five Heartbeats from back when they were younger, right? And it jumps straight into June 7th, 1965, which in New York City, New York, which is where the Five Heartbeats, when they first became a group, if you will, they came together, and they're at this competition, um, and the competition, like the characters, if you will, like the the competition or the talent show, whatever you want to call it, it gave Dream Girls meets Temptations. And granted, Temptations didn't come out until like 7 years after this movie did, but when this movie came out, everyone knew about the Temptations. Hell, David Ruffin had died the same year this movie came out. So everybody already knew about the Temptations. Everybody knew about the Dream Girls. So it was like Dream Girls meets Temptations almost. Even though the movie focused more about the Five Heartbeats, but it like the competition gave. That's how the competition gave. That's what the competition gave me. But anyway, so the competition, they're all good talents. You got Flash, you got I forget the name of the girl group. You got all these groups in here performing and giving they best. Some of them doing great, some of them doing whatever. But when you're watching the movie, you're seeing the group, Duck's group, the Five Heartbeats. You're seeing them. Some of them are there, some of them are not. They're all nervous. They're this, that, and the third. You got Duck, Dresser, Choir Boy, JT. They're all there. The only two that are missing is Eddie and Bobby. Eddie and Bobby are missing. Well, that's because they grown asses is at some little gambling house gambling, right? And they're gambling and get into an altercation with the people that they gambling with, and they, dipping and running. Bobby gets shot in the leg and gets hit by a car. Eddie ends up getting away and leaving Bobby basically, and that's all we've seen of Bobby. There was no more talk about Bobby. No one knows what happened to Bobby after that. We don't know. But the point is, that's what's going on with them. JT is the flirty boy of the group. He just loves them. He's addicted to being with multiple women. He's the lover boy. He's the pretty boy, so he gets the ladies at ease. Whereas Duck and Choir Boy don't necessarily get the ladies with ease. They're, the shy and timid men of the group, if you will. Duck not so much as Choir Boy, but anyway, so JT, he got his eyes, he already dealing with one chick, but he got his eye on this other chick, right? And Flash see the JT got a thing for this other chick. Yeah, he see the JT got his thing for this chick in the crowd. So Flash start flirting with Shorty, right? And JT get all sideways crazy. But then in the next scene, the chick that JT was messing with, who's also in the crowd, comes to the back and they arguing about something. And he smooth talked the panties off of Shorty. Anyway, she tried to stand strong, but JT made her fold like a lawn chair. And I'm like, yeah, you're gonna be a player. That's all that is. You just a little player, a little young player. Like, you know what I'm saying? You like to get your willy wet with multiple water parks. It is what it is. But anyway, so Eddie ends up making it to the show. They end up having a show, and when I'm watching, I'm like, they can't be teenagers. Like when I say teenagers, I mean, I'm like, these can't be 16, 17-year olds. These got to be 18, 19, 20-year-old men because it's given 18 and up. They out late by themselves. They're performing inside of a bar or some type of club or whatever, theater, whatever, for a bunch of grown people. So I'm like, these can't be no kids. These have to be young adults, young men, basically. But anyway, so Eddie gets there, they perform. They end up, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, they end up losing the competition, but they go to like some little diner to go have, this little they little dinner at whatever, right? And JT and Duck got this thing where they play this game called Shy Brother. Basically, where one brother goes and talks to a girl for the other brother and tries to tell that, like, sells this idea that brother's shy. That's why he won't come and talk to him. Duck is good at it. Duck stays to his stick to his guns with the stuff. He plays a Shy Brother game for JT, gets JT this girl's number. Well, while they're all in there eating, talking, and whatever the case may be, um, while they're sitting there eating or whatever, this is when Jimmy Potter pulls up and he offers them, uh, basically, offers them his management shit. He offers to become their manager and help them prosper in their music career, in their music career and everything, right? And he tells them like, if y'all don't win this next competition, I'm gonna give you that $100 out of my own pocket. I'm gonna give it to you, but this is my way of showing you that I'm serious and I'm willing to help y'all. So they like, all right, cool, whatever. We'll see about it. Well, my bad, y'all. I was looking at something to make sure I didn't skip something. But so Jimmy's wife really don't want him to do this shit. She feel like he keep putting himself into these positions, helping these music talents get to where they are, and then they just drop him as a manager and move on, right? And he like, I got a different feeling about these boys. She like, okay, whatever, nigga. You had a different feeling about all the other groups that you helped, and look what happened to your ass. They left you high and dry. But whatever, do you? I ain't worried about it. So the next contest they have, they lose. Jimmy's a man of his word. He pays up. He gives them the $100 out of his own pocket. And the rest of the crew like, hey man, give they because he gives the money to Eddie, and the rest of the crew telling Eddie like, yo, give a man his money back. Like that, it ain't right for us to be taking money from this man. And Eddie like, hell no, a deal's a deal. He made a deal with us that we will win the next competition. If we don't, he'll pay us $100 himself. We lost. He paid up. It is what it is. Which I'm with Eddie on that. I'm with Eddie on it. You made a deal with me. I didn't ask you for a deal. You made a deal with me. I don't care how wrong it sounds. You paid up because you're a man of your word, right? It is what it is. We showed up. We gave you a chance. We deserve the money that you offered us. It is what it is. So they ain't worried about that. They end up going to Jimmy's house, him and Jimmy and his wife's house, where his wife, I think, is like a ladies etiquette teacher. I think that's what she was. I don't. They really didn't go too deep into what Mrs. Potter did, Eleanor. I just know she had a group of young ladies coming out of a different room that she was clearly teaching. And it looks like etiquette class, possibly, maybe. Or maybe she was a teacher for young ladies. I don't remember what it was that she did. But Duck had caught his eye on one of the young ladies in the crew. And he wanted Shorty. He wanted to holler at Shorty. But, they spoke of whatever the case may be. And blah, 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 blah. Well, Jimmy this is where Sage or Sarge, whatever you want to call him, this is where he comes in at. And Dresser is their choreographer, the Five Heartbeats. He's their choreographer, right? So Dresser was the one giving them their dance moves. And basically, Jimmy brought Sarge in to teach them how to really dance. Because basically, he was saying Dresser ass didn't have no dance moves. But in my opinion, Dresser and Sage both did. That little dance show that they put on, Sarge was tap dancing. Dresser was doing whatever fuck Dresser was doing. Neither one of them can dance to me. As far as like, Sarge could tap dance, but if we talking about real dancing, it didn't give. They really had real rhythm. Sarge could tap dance. That I give him. He was tap dancing his ass off, but I don't know why everybody. I mean, back in the day, that was dancing, so I can't say nothing because that was back in the day. That was considered dancing back in the day. But anyway, so the next day, uh the over a course of a montage, if you will, not even the next day, over a montage, we get to see that the five heartbeats are being coached by their dance choreographer now. He's teaching them how to dance. He's giving them moves, teaching them this, teaching them that. Well, while they're in rehearsal the night before the next competition, they're in the rehearsal, and this crew, Bird and the Midnight Falcons, they're in there watching them as they rehearse, right? And Bird is so afraid of them winning that Bird's like, we got to find a way to cheat to keep them from winning because they could possibly win. So one of the crew members, their cousin, old fart, old ass bastard, he's the host, and they use him. They like, we're gonna use him to help cheat, basically, right? So they next day competition. The Midnight Falcons, they go up first. They're singing. They're doing all they little shaking and gyrating. They performance was whack. It was trash, horrible, too much going on. And then on top of that, Bird had to have his girl bring some ladies in there to pump up the show and make them act like they was good. I mean, talking about some screaming when they shouldn't be screaming. Them niggas was trash. They wasn't even good. Could barely sing, couldn't really hold a dance, and then he faking. Oh, y'all gotta see it. Y'all gotta watch the movie. If you never seen the Five Heartbeats, you gotta watch it because his performance was ass. He was doing too much. But needless to say, they they get up. They get the Five Heartbeats. It's almost time for them to start performing, right? Well, if this thing don't stop. Oh, I did skip something. Hold on, y'all. So my computer's tripping. I skipped something I wanted to bring up because this is kind of important about Eddie. And I'm gonna get to it in a second anyway. But Eddie's father, like I said, who played Whispers and Hoodlum, his father told Eddie that Eddie's father said, "You ain't gonna be shit because I ain't shit." So we get to see why Eddie's already like he is, because his daddy for years have been implanting to him that he's not gonna be shit. He ain't gonna be shit because you ain't shit, I ain't shit, blah 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 blah. But Eddie's mama had faith in him. She always did, but not so much the daddy. So back to the competition, right? So they get up there, they're doing their competition or whatever the case may be. And while they're doing the competition, or while the competition is going on, after the Midnight Falcons get off stage, the host comes back and tries to tell the Five Heartbeats that they have to use the house piano guy because it's house rules. So they have to use the house piano guy, and the house piano guy don't know their music. So it's like, why? He don't know our music, so you know what I'm saying? So they trying to play by the rules. They get up there, they're doing their performance, and Duck is like, he's not happy because he's the piano player. So Duck's just not feeling it. He's like, he's tearing our music up and we getting booed. Now the host is scandalous. The host gonna go up there and gonna say that the Five Heartbeats said that they better than the Midnight Falcons. They better than the Temptations. Like he up there bigging them up, saying shit they didn't even say, but bigging them up to make the crew boo, to make the crowd boo them already, right? So when they get up there, they're already being booed. They already, getting a bad rep off the top. They're not getting the love and respect they deserve already because of what the old dude said. So as they're performing, Duck is like, he's not into it. The rhythm is off. The tempo is off. And JT's like, come on, Duck, perform. Duck like, I can't, bro. I can't do it. So Duck had enough. Duck going, he pushed that piano dude right off the piano, and Duck get the bop bop a doo bop 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 to and through that. No, just like he don't do that, but that's what it was given. He gave Little Richard on that piano. He took over on that piano, and JT and Dresser uh couldn't came over and they stood behind Duck like to protect him, so nobody would try to pull him off the piano. And Choir Boy, his scary ass, he runs off the stage, but Eddie, Dresser, Duck, and JT all stayed on the stage, right? And Eddie, he like, shit, well, let's get the party started. So they get to singing, right? And or Eddie gets to singing, and the chick in the front, the Bird, his girl, the one he made, um, bring her friends to try to show out. She in the front seat melting. I mean, melting. Shorty ended up passing out too. But they up there giving it they all. They in there Then they're giving them that work, if you will, right? Acapella, basically, what Duck doing the piano work. They up there going in. While they in there performing, like I said, Choir Boy had ran. His scary ass got off stage. Well, when he realized that they had took over, he came back out because he sings the high pitched parts. And he came back out and he started singing. The crowd fell in love with him instantly. Fell in love with him. Well, after that ends, I put in my notes. I said Choir Boy came back and laid some vocals on them hoes. That's what I put in my notes. But uh, but when that ends, they end up going to go have dinner again at a diner. And while they're dining, Red shows up. He offers them a record label deal. Jimmy already know Red and he know what he's about, so he's skeptical. So he tries to go an alternative and try to get an opportunity to with another business mogul who offers to do their first recording for them for record their first song. So they get an opportunity to record their first song, and they get told that they get an opportunity to record their first song. Now this is where JT and Duck's Brotherhood started to have issues and right off the jump. So JT and Duck, like I said, they do this Shy Brother thing, right? Where one plays Shy, the other one helps get the girl. Well, Duck wanted to do Shy Brother because a chick was already feeling him. Now this is what don't make sense. The chick already feeling you. What do you need to play Shy Brother for? She clearly likes you. So he wanted to do Shy Brother. JT was kind of hesitant, but I think JT was hesitant because he knew if he went over there, that he was gonna sweet talk Shorty anyway. He wasn't gonna do Shy Brother for his brother, which is fucked up. But basically what it is. And as Duck's steadily trying to get him to go over there, that's when they found out from Jimmy that they get an opportunity to do a record deal. And all right, I had to make sure it's still recording. But anyway, so um like I said, they get the little record deal, whatever. JT goes over to the girl to pretend to do Shy Brother for his brother, but turns out ends up stealing the chick from his brother. But it backfired on JT ass because he had to fight some grown ass dude over old girl. Cause she was married, a whole married woman, trying to skip out on her husband to get with some little young dudes. But anyway, so okay, so the song, and it's a very popular song. But Duck, the next day, Duck was trying to write a song for their first record recording deal, right? For them to record their first song, and he throwing paper all over the floor. They sister trying to clean up the damn room, and he just constantly throwing paper all over the place. And you know, she like, can you quit doing that? I'm trying to get this room cleaned up before our folks get back. I ain't trying to get my ass whooped because you want to keep throwing shit. So basically, if you never seen the Five Heartbeats, this is probably my favorite part in the movie. So the sister ends up picking up all the paper that he threw. Excuse me. So the sister ends up picking up all the paper that he threw, and the song, no matter how hard it gets, we haven't finished yet. I can't sing, I know. Mind your business. But anyway, that song was born, and I love that song. I just can't sing, so I'm not gonna do a whole lot. Some people run. Anyway, the point is that song was born, but it was born because of his sister. She was picking up all these these lyrics that he was tossing, and she was putting them together. And at that point, she basically put his song together, made it come to life. So now they get to record the song. Well, the recording label dude is a white guy who tries to screw them over and tries to take the song, gonna tell them that that song don't really fit them. He think it fit a group of other guys, and the group of other guys that come in is five white dudes talking about some of the five horsemen. Huh? Sir, what? So they like, fuck no. You not taking our song and giving it to some white people? Not happening. So at this point, they had to give Big Red a chance. So they do. They give Big Red a chance, and they get to record a song. The next day, they wake up, their song is on the goddamn radio. And JT and Duck, who are crammed into this small house, sleep in one bed with well, they got bunk beds, but sleep in two beds with their siblings, and another two beds for the girls. They're crammed in one house. All these people in one house, cousins, babies, cousins, sisters, brothers, all in one house, right? Well, like I said, the song ends up getting on the radio. JT and uh JT and Duck's parents are ecstatic, happy. Eddie's parents can care less. I think Dresser was a grown ass man. I think he was like 21 already, so they never mentioned anything about Dresser's parents. Dresser had a whole woman already, a girlfriend, if you will. So that's why I said I think Dresser was already grown. But Choir Boy, however, his mama was happy for him. His daddy, not so much. His daddy didn't want him to go off being secular, and the pastor wasn't happy with his son's decision. So in a way, he kind of disowned his son, if you will. Well, they get to go on tour, and they're touring hit after hit after hit, basically, right? Now, before they left, JT and Duck's daddy, this is the realest thing a father gonna tell you. He told them, he said, listen, it's gonna be a lot of girls out there. Gonna be a lot of them. But you make sure you cover that tent you gonna pitch, make sure you cover it. Make sure you put something on top of that bottle cap. Make sure you put something on top of that willy, okay? And they sitting there acting stupid. And I'm like, based on the first thing he said to y'all should have caught on. He was telling y'all to wrap it up, put a condom on. Like, don't be out there just raw skiggity dogging everybody. But, you know, they all get to going. They're on the road, they're driving. And the only thing that threw me off about them traveling was, so you got the five heartbeats in the car. You got Dresser, Duck, JT, Choir Boy, Eddie, right? Well, while they're driving to wherever the hell they were driving to, because they didn't say how far they was going or where they was going, they ended up experiencing um, their first racial experience with the police. They was caught DW being driving while black, and the racist ass cops and shit. They made them sing to prove that they were actual singers. They knew that they were singers, but they was being racist and made them sing to prove that they were singers. Now here's my point out about that. The reason why I said I was kind of confused because where the fuck was Jimmy at? Did Jimmy make them drive by themselves? Because I don't remember seeing Jimmy in the car. When they got pulled over, I don't remember seeing Jimmy in the car. I remember seeing them five. So where the fuck was Jimmy at? Was Jimmy on like the tour bus? Like where was Jimmy? Was Jimmy riding the bus down to where they was going? Did he fly? It never really made it clear why Jimmy wasn't with them that night that they got pulled over. But I digress on that part. It just pissed me off because I was like, that probably wouldn't have happened to him had they, had Jimmy there. But they ended up like I said, they going through the travels or whatever. While they were traveling though, Choir Boy had made a call back to his family, and this is where you see Choir Boy goes through a little change. Choir Boy made a call back to his family to see if his dad had changed his mind. His daddy still was being an asshole, and Choir Boy carried a Bible everywhere he went. Where Choir Boy left his Bible on the damn the telephone. I'm trying to think of what it's called. The telephone booth, right? He left the thing there, the Bible there. That's and then when he left the Bible there, that night is when they got pulled over. So without the scene saying it, basically his Bible was their protector, and because he left his Bible, that opened the gate for them to experience their first racial experience on the road. Also opened the door for Choir Boy to no longer be Choir Boy at that point. And in August of 27, 1966, they finally get to wherever the hell they was going. They get the first album cover for their song, find out that Big Red made a decision to take their faces off the album cover and put something else on there so the album would sell. Now, hear me out. Big Red knows that the world is racist. So him making that decision was so that the album would sell. His part in this is to make money off of it. So I know how to make money off of it. Although y'all don't agree with my decision, y'all feel like if people can't accept the music for the five heartbeats face being on it, then fuck them. But a lot of albums don't have the artist on the front of it. Some of them do now, but back then, a lot of the record labels shot, even if they were white, a lot of times their faces weren't on an album. It was usually words or some type of cool background. By the time Michael Jackson and Prince them came around, then yeah, but for the most part, not so much, unless you were super popular. But they were still coming up. They were still making a name for themselves. So Big Red was making the best decision he knew. Once they got big and everybody knew who the Five Heartbeats was and they knew what their face looked like, it wouldn't be no reason to hide it at that point because why? Why do they need to? Now they know that y'all black. Now they know. Well, they always pissed about it. Dresser was the only one who wasn't pissed about it. Dresser understood the business strategy of it. Everybody else was mad. Eddie was mad. Duck fucking flung the goddamn album way to Afghanistan, if you will, because he flung that motherfucker. Everybody was mad. Hell, even Jimmy was mad about it. But I'm like, did y'all not understand the business aspect of it? But I digress. So, um, they all was at the hotel that night. Jimmy's playing the trumpet. Uh, Choir boy was messing with some hoochie upstairs. Nobody knew where JT was. He was in his, I don't know, he was hiding. Duck had just came back from KFC with some chicken. And he was still dealing with his emotional turmoil about what he was going through because he had tried, the girl he tried to holler at, he was at Jimmy's wife's little business thing, whatever you want to call it. He had went to go try to holler at her and seen that she was into rich guys. So the dude she was talking to was a rich dude, and then her mama tried to play him by giving him some salvation, some throwaways, if you will. Try to call him a bum, call him poor, or whatever case may be. Try to stun in his face. So after that, he stopped fucking with old girl, but he was still dealing with the turmoil because he kind of still liked her. And then you had Eddie who was battling fighting his chance of becoming an addict because of everything his daddy said to him. An alcoholic, being a drug addict. He didn't want to go through that route, but he was battling the emotions because what his daddy said to him, he made it. He kind of felt like it was true. Like my daddy said, I ain't gonna be shit, because he ain't shit. My daddy ain't shit, so maybe I ain't gonna be shit. Then you got Dresser who found out his girlfriend is pregnant. He had to become a father, and he's scared. He want to quit the group and invest in some stocks and shit. And Eddie like, nah, you said you love her. Why would you waste your money on that? Don't do that. And him and Duck give Dresser some money, and then they career continue to strive. So, and it gives you, and I like that they give you these little timestamps. July 12th, 1966. This is where the group started having their downhill moments. This shit happened fast. In the course of a year, this shit happened fast for them. So, Duck and JT are on stage, they singing. Duck pissed off at JT about a lot. It's a lot of stuff that JT has done in the course of the past few years that Duck is just not happy about, right? And I'm not sure if Duck was really the baby brother or the big brother. JT did call him his baby brother, but I don't know if that was true or what. I never really got to the bottom of that. But we're gonna assume Duck is the baby brother. Well, they're on the stage, they're arguing back and forth, and they start fighting on the stage. JT ripped or Duck ripped JT's his suit. JT ripped Duck's. They're ripping each other's clothes and they're fighting, right? And Jimmy is like, they need to learn how to channel their anger for the right thing. And Sarge is like, yeah, good luck teaching them that. Well, the next scene, they get to channel that, and they use what they did on the stage of ripping each other's clothes off. They use it in their next act, and they rip these suits that they have off and have these shiny suit looking things on underneath, shiny jumpsuits underneath, right? So they making money. Okay, it's 1967. They getting money. 1967 around Christmas time, they getting money. Big Red ends up making a purchase and buying all of them cars, right? But see, this is the first mistake that most people go through with record labels. Y'all let them buy y'all shit when you should just make them give you your money. Give me my money. Don't go buying me shit. Just give me what I earned, and let me make my decision if I want to buy a car. Because when the company does that, that comes out of my pay. Well, Duck ends up buying his family a house. I honestly think Duck and JT did that together. I think. Um, this and they're all doing good things with their money. Eddie, however, he starts making bad decisions, drinking more alcohol, getting more into drugs. So far that Baby Doll, which is Eddie's girlfriend, she was a singer in her own group. She can't take no more, and she leaves Eddie. She's like, I can't take this no more. And she like, I'm leaving you. You too high. You doing too much. You showing up late. You accusing Jimmy. You know what I'm saying? Like, you just doing a lot. So she leaves him. Well, Eddie shows up the next day, high, drunk, out of his mind. He's accusing Jimmy of trying to replace him with Flash, which technically Eddie wasn't wrong. Jimmy was up to that. That is really what Jimmy was doing. Jimmy was getting ready to try to replace Eddie with Flash but it was because Eddie was fucking up. It wasn't because Jimmy wanted to. It's because Eddie was fucking up. He wasn't showing up to rehearsal. He was high. He was drunk. He was doing stuff he shouldn't have been doing. But he uh tells Flash like, you want my spot, but you ain't gonna get it. And and Flash is like, okay, nigga. I didn't say I was gonna get your spot. Okay, do what you gotta do. Well, Choir Boy then turned himself into a little hoe. Now he's smashing any and every chick that he can get his hands on. He a little thought pocket, okay? And like I said earlier, he forgot his Bible and forgot about Jesus too, apparently, because he came a little how. Now, Eddie ended up not showing up to one of their performances, right? Everybody's mad at Eddie. So they all go to Eddie's place. They all start basically getting in Eddie's ass about him being high all the time, drunk all the time, and late all the time. And Eddie telling them like, listen, Jimmy trying to replace me, so I was trying to prove to him that without me, there is no five heartbeats, basically. Basically, ain't no David Ruffin. Um, so this is the crazy part. Why Choir Boy tell I'm sorry, I just thought about this. Why Choir Boy tell one of the girls they call him Anthony Stone, aka Rock. What? What the hell? Call you Rock? Boy bye. Um so they having this little ball, this little party or whatever, right? Well, why they having this little ball, little party or whatever they did? Read through a party for all the artists that he has. He's got Flash. He's got the Five Heartbeats. He's got Bird and the Midnight Falcons. He's their record label. He's making money off all these fools. Bird took it upon himself to go press Big Red about his money, and Big Red told him, my business hours is between 9 to 5. Now bounce the fuck on and talk to me during my business hours. Well, Bird kept pushing the issue, and Bird needed some tissue because he damn near hit shit at himself when Big Red whooped his ass first off and and dangled his ass off that fucking balcony. Scared the shit out of him. And Red said, now what's my business hours again? And they said 9 to 5. Why you messing with him anyway? Y'all at a ball. Y'all over here supposed to be having a fun and good time. Like, bro, leave that man alone. Deal with business hours during business hours. Like, why you wait till y'all having fun to go and bother him anyway about it? So later on that night, Duck and JT have a brother to brother heart conversation where JT lies and says he's tired of being with one woman and blah 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 blah. Now, Duck has started messing with Shorty, the chick that was giving him the cold shoulder in the beginning, who mama gave him the salvation clothes, or tried to. Now, I ain't gonna lie, I would have gave a nigga some clothes too when I see you pull up to my house with goddamn bowling shoes on, but that's neither here nor there. But he ends up messing with Shorty. And Duck, when he was having this conversation with JT about JT being an addict, a sex addict, if you will, Duck was pretty much telling him, you need to go get some motherfucking help. But little did Duck know, Duck was kind of foreshadowing his own demise, because he had told JT that when the right woman comes along, you'll know it, right? But not knowing what JT knew, right? Well, the next day, Jimmy has to meet with Big Red and Eddie. And when he meets with them, Big Red pretty much tells him like, I want to buy you out your contract because I want to manage and take over the Five Heartbeats completely myself. And Jimmy's like, fuck no, I'm not stepping down. I'm not giving up my title for you. And Big Red like, well, I'm being nice by offering you money to buy you out because you really, truly actually owe me money. Because all the shit I paid for these Five Heartbeats, the cars, the fancy trips, all the shit, that shit came out of my pocket. So really, y'all all owe me money. But I'm being nice trying to pay you out. And Jimmy's still like, no. And Eddie signed a contract individually with Big Red. So Eddie is already managed now by Big Red. It's just the other four is still managed underneath Jimmy now, which I don't know how that's possible. Like, because you ain't fire him as your manager. I guess that was his way of firing him as manager. I don't care. Whatever. So, in a way, Big Red threatens. Hold on. This damn mouse keeps disappearing. In a way, Big Red ends up threatening Jimmy. And pretty much he tells him, like basically if you don't give up, I got a way to make you give up. And Jimmy ain't tripping about it. Jimmy ain't red. He like, you know me. All that threatening shit. Don't bring my wife into it. This between me and you. You leave my wife out of it. So Jimmy ends up going home. And he's talking to his wife and they, whatever the case may be. And he don't tell his wife what's really going on. He try to sugarcoat it and, tell her there ain't nothing going on, ain't no problem. But he's getting prank calls to his phone. Being prank called a lot. And he tries to go blow off some steam. He tells his wife, I'm going to go to the club, kind of blow some steam. I'll come back later, maybe hit the studio or whatever case may be. And she's like, Eleanor's like, oh, okay. But she knew something was up because he was acting strange, right? So they phone ring. She goes to answer it. And I think it was Eddie or somebody who was playing on the phone, trying to prank her or whatever, or prank them or whatever. And when she heard it, she knew something was up. So she goes to run to the elevator, tries to catch Jimmy, don't catch him. So she sees sees that he's going down. So she's running down the stairs trying to catch Jimmy. Well, by the time she gets down the stairs, Jimmy was at his car door. He had opened the car door, and this one thing about movies I hate. That's slow shit because she yells out his name, and instead of him, because he looks up and sees the damn truck coming, and instead of him hopping in his car, his ass just stood there and got hit by the big ass truck and it broke the door off and flung him on top of his car, blood coming out of his mouth and everything, and unfortunately Jimmy dies. Right? I don't know how he died from that, but that's how Jimmy dies. Well, scandalous ass Big Red pulls up to the funeral. And he gonna tell Eleanor, you shouldn't be alone tonight. Eleanor slapped the shit out of him, as she shoulda. Cause she like, how you gonna come to my husband's funeral and disrespect him? Get your ass out this funeral. Get out. Big Red, he leave. The crew pulls up on Eddie. Eddie getting high, and they just sitting there looking at him. The only one who wasn't there yet was Dresser. Dresser get there, and Dresser, he beat Eddie ass. Cause if that's what you call whooping ass, that's what you call whooping ass. But Dresser found out from Bird that Red is the reason why Jimmy was dead. But Dresser also found out that it's also kind of Eddie's fault too that happened. And that part of the movie was kind of like rushed put together to me because it really didn't unfold good enough. Like it didn't tell the full story. Even if they didn't use words, the full story kind of wasn't told for real. But anyway, so they find out that Big Red is the reason why Jimmy died. Big Red goes to jail. They end up getting signed to another record label. And when they get signed to another record label, this is when shit starts to hit the fan. Because of Eddie's drug addiction, they end up replacing him with Flash. Right? He gets replaced with Flash. So now Flash is the lead singer. JT ain't happy about the new look or the fact that Flash is their lead singer. And Duck like, bro, get over yourself. You just upset because JT, you not the pretty boy no more. Flash is. Well, if you want that spot still, go force and get it. So they do a show. And the next set on their show, um, JT ends up pulling out all the stops. He ends up out singing Flash, out showing the girls the love and whatever the case may be. And Duck like, there you go. Now you get it. Well, as they're leaving, they run into Eddie. Now, this to me was Eddie's second attempt for crying out for help from them. This was his second attempt. Eddie shows up to the show after the show, and he pretty much lets them know like I want back in. I need it. I want it, and they like nah, cuz hell no. This nigga Eddie had on the little glittery jumpsuit they had talking about some nights like this. I wish raindrops would fall. And that nigga said, Lane. Bro, that was the funniest part in that movie. That fool said, Lane. But nonetheless, they basically don't take Eddie back. They like, nah, bro, like we can't do this. We'll get you some help. And Eddie like, I don't want y'all money. I don't want y'all pity. I just need this back. This is what I need. And they like, nah, you good, bro. Let's get you. What they should have said was, let's get you some help first. Instead, they kind of always kind of treating him like he was trash, like he was garbage, like they was disappointed. I get it, but he was clearly crying out for help, and instead of them seeing that, in a way, they kind of just was like playing him to the left almost. But um after that, they find out that the chick that was dissing Duck in the beginning, that now she want to be with him, that he popping. So she and he are now getting married. Duck and old girl, they getting married, right? And JT was pissed when he seen that 38 hot. They was in a recording studio when he told them that they was getting married, and JT like, man, hell no, no, because in the back of his mind, like, how you gonna marry my brother? Knowing what we be doing, and you gonna marry my brother? So Duck assumes that Choir Boy is messing with his girl. That's what he tells Dresser. He tells Dresser that he thinks Choir Boy is messing with his girl. Whole time, he ain't even knowing. It ain't Choir Boy that's messing with your girl. Dresser like, well, how you gonna find out who she messing with? He like, I'm gonna find a way. I'm gonna get some proof. So what he does is he ends up following his girl, right? And he finds out his girl is actually messing with his brother. Now he's heartbroken. He's torn to pieces. Cause he's like, what the hell? Like, my brother? So Eddie ends up getting into a shootout with the police because his dumbass was trying to rob a liquor store, get into a shootout. He gets shot, he's in critical condition, you know, what have you. Um JT was telling old girl that she gotta break off the wedding. She can't marry his brother. Like, you been sleeping with me behind my brother's back. And you think I'm about to let you marry my brother? Knowing that we been messing around? Like, he was like, y'all was going on little cute little dates. All right, cool. But now you talking about marrying him? Girl, fuck no, you can't marry my brother. No, call that shit off. She's like, no, I love him. I love you. I have love for you, but I'm in love with your brother. Bitch, how you in love with somebody and you sleeping with another person? You know what I'm saying? So JT like, girl, no. Call it off. Well, fast forward past all that bullshit. They're accepting an award for their gold album, right? And Duck already distraught. He done found that his girl was cheating on him, and he just in a whole nother headspace. Well, Flash finds the time while they're getting their acceptance and their awards. He finds the time to go ahead and tell the crew, this was an honor to work with y'all, but your boy is out. Peace out. And Flash leaves the group. For the short amount of time he was with the group, he leaves the group. I said, ain't that about a bitch? So he leaves the group, and excuse me, Duck goes up there to talk next, and he says that someone once told him that he'll be a great writer when he suffers more. And he said he didn't understand what that meant until now. And he literally said, I have my brother and my fiance to thank for that. His brother, JT, goofy ass, not realizing that he ain't thanking you in the way you thinking, fool. Cause the fiance caught it quick. She like, oh shit, he knows. And he announces he's leaving the group. And everybody like, yo, what the hell? So that's the end of the HeartBeats. HeartBeats no more. They ended their group this as soon as Duck left, because Flash leaving wasn't gonna be a big deal. But Duck leaving, they didn't have a writer, they didn't have a pianist, they didn't have a musical nothing. They didn't have nothing. They didn't have nothing without Duck. Even though Eddie could sing his ass off, they didn't have nothing without Duck. And Duck was done. So that was the end of the Five Heartbeats. Choir Boy ends up going back to the choir. He goes back to church. And he invites Duck to the church. And he tells Duck that he has a surprise for him and he would love him to come to service and how he misses that day time and blah, blah, blah. So Duck ends up going to service. And Duck ends up finding out that Eddie, he's healthy, he's strong, he's clean, and he's in church as the head singer in the church. He's all him and Baby Doll. They in church, they singers in the choir. And Duck couldn't be no more happier, right? Well, Eddie goes and talks to Duck and tells Duck, like, hey, you and your brother got beef, and I understand that. I get your brother was wrong, but take it from a man who made many mistakes and was forgiven by God and given a second chance. You need to give your brother a second chance. And Duck, like, man, fuck that nigga, bro. Like, yeah, whatever. I ain't trying to hear that. But Duck must have took a minute, thought about it, and he pulls up on his brother. And his brother, the same chick that he was messing with in the beginning, ends up being the same chick he start messing with when they got older. That's the same chick. So he ended up marrying the same chick that he was cheating on. Had 2 kids with her and everything like that. And they made a pact that whichever one of them had kids first, the other one had to name their son after him. Right? So when Duck came to see his brother, they looked at each other for a minute, and JT's son was just sitting there. He was playing with his daughter and his son. His daughter, they mama told him to come here because I don't know why she was acting all scared. Like when Duck pulled up, she made try to make the kids come over there to her, and the daughter ran over there, but the son wouldn't. And all you hear the daughter yell out is, "Duck, you better get over here!" And as soon as she said that, Duck started smiling. Cause he was like, you upheld the deal, and honored the deal. You still named your son after me, even after all these years of us not speaking to each other anymore. You held up your end of the deal, and Duck was grateful for that. He did let it go about the bitch, but you could tell he still hurt. Well, in the end, uh, the Five Heartbeats, of course, the group didn't get back together necessarily, but they went back to being cool, hanging out again, barbecues, doing shows for the kids, if you will, like at the barbecue or whatever. But then we find out that Flash then joined the Five Horsemen. It's Flash and the Five Horsemen. Hilarious shit. If you ain't seen this movie, I promise you should see it. And then, what made me laugh even more is they try to do their little dance or whatever, the Five Heartbeats at the end, because JT didn't want the kids watching Flash and the Five Horsemen. He said that ain't real music. He don't want his kids watching that shit. Not happening. So everybody was egging them on to put a show on. And when they was trying to do the show, Eddie had went down the bend and turned, and his back gave out. And I said to myself, he played that character way too motherfucking good. Way too motherfucking good. Like, really good. And I don't know, the movie it ends that way. That's how the movie ends up ending. It ends up ending with a corny ass ending, because I call it corny. The movie was good, but that ending was corny as hell. And yeah, that's how it ends up ending, right? So I ain't done this in a minute, but I do got some notes for y'all. So for my notes, Why the hell did Duck have on bowling shoes? I know it was a bunch of y'all in one house, but you tell me you didn't have a nice pair of little slack style shoes. No, why'd you go to that girl house with them bowling shoes on? Then got offended when her mama gave you some clothes from Salvation Army. Nigga, you wearing bowling shoes. Anybody would think that you're poor. And then I ain't like the fact that Eleanor kept stepping on Jimmy's dreams. I get that you've seen him take heartbreak after heartbreak, but if he wants to keep pursuing his heartbreak after heartbreak, bitch, you stand beside him and you accept the heartbreak with him. All that trying to make him change his career path because you don't like the outcome, they ain't got nothing to do with that. Ain't got to do with nothing. Now she was kind of right a little bit because it cost him his life, but at the same time, the man died doing what he loved and wasn't miserable working a regular 9 to 5. Um, I say they couldn't have been doing too bad though, because that house they lived in looked pretty nice to me, or apartment, whatever it was. That little old ass host that was up there cheating for the Bird and the Midnight Falcons. He know he was too damn old and too damn ugly to be cheating up there cheating like that. Just old and decrepit. Goddamn me, and then goddamn me, JT and Duck with this stupid Shy Brother shit. That shit was for the birds. JT and Duck shouldn't have been doing no shit like that. If a girl into you, she into you. Why are you playing Shy Brother? What do you gotta play Shy for? To try to make it easier to get the draws? Man, what you doing all that for? She already like you. She already like you. What are you doing all that for? Shit didn't make no sense. And then goddamn, hey, if I could find a picture, that them wigs on them 5 horsemen, them wigs was atrocious. If I find a picture, it's gonna be on my either on my left or my right. Them wigs was horrible, horrible. I get this movie with, but they should never put them wigs on that man's head. No, y'all could have just dyed their hair blonde or something, but not put them wigs on their head. God damn me. You know that's what's interesting. Them sleeping clothes, them long johns people used to wear back in the day. That full body suit, whatever you want to call it. Yeah. They should never put them on again. Never. Um. Oh, so when I was talking about the whole situation with Eddie when he lying, I one thing that I didn't like, and I stand on it. I feel like when Eddie said that they was insulting him, I agreed with Eddie. To me, they were insulting him, putting money in his hand and all that pity and what he was asking for. He was asking for help, but not the way they was trying to give it to him. He needed a reason to be able to feel like he was able to come back to the 5 heartbeats. That's what he needed. And that's what Choir Boy gave him in the end, if you think about it. Choir Boy went and got Eddie, got him cleaned up, put him in the choir and let him sing. That's all Eddie wanted to do. He just wanted to sing. That's it. That's all he wanted. And for them to insult that man like that, it didn't help him further down the line. He ended up getting into a shootout with the police and damn near died. Because y'all insulting him by treating him like he a bum and treating him like he wasn't just with y'all, like he didn't help participate in this group and bring this group up, and then y'all let Flash disrespect him by letting Flash walk into his fucking face and look him up and down like you crackhead, you piece of shit, like that. Y'all let him clown y'all boy. Eddie is y'all boy. No matter what Eddie did or what Eddie went through, that was supposed to still be y'all boy. And for y'all to turn y'all back on him was kind of fucked up. It was kind of fucked up. Um, I thought Flash was a little dusty to me. Sorry, he wasn't cute. He was dusty. He looked like he wanted to be Little Richard so bad. It was giving Little Richard. That's what it was giving. It was giving. Let me be Richard. Tutti frutti head ass. That's what he thought he was. And ugh, he boo tomatoes, tomatoes, tomatoes. Boo. Get Flash out of here. Nobody. No. Flash didn't have his own personality, in my opinion. Um, I don't know why Duck even tried to talk to old girl after she curved him like that, and then her mama old dusty ass. giving him Salvation Army. I'm gonna bring this up because that kind of made me mad. Because why would you try to talk to her? Her mama just dissed you. She just dissed you. She gonna tell you, I don't think you should come back here no more. Yep. Like what? Girl, what? Mm-mm. He set himself up for heartbreak. That's why I don't get how he was in a way I don't get why he was even mad at JT because you set yourself up for heartbreak because Shorty wasn't even interested in you in the first place. So why did you even talk to her? I don't know. I don't know. And another thing, I don't know why he got mad anyway, because why are you trusting any female around JT? You know how your brother is. So any female that you bring around your brother, if she show an inkling or a sign, even a measurement of interest in your brother, you should know he probably tapping that then. Which means she ain't the girl for you. Yeah, your brother is wrong. Your brother's wrong. He's not off the hook because JT was dead wrong. JT knew not to cross that line. He's scandalous. But at the same time, Duck, you stupid. You know how your brother is? I wouldn't even come on now. Come on now. I wouldn't even have brought a girl around my own brother. That's messed up that you have to think that way, but I wouldn't even have done it. And I would have told JT, first of all, Doug knew our girl wasn't into him. So I don't even know why he even wasted his time. She only wanted to deal with him because he was a 5 heartbeat. Just saying. Um and JT even more scandalous because not only did you mess up my relationship with our girl and something I could have had, but you didn't even stay with her. You didn't even stay with her. You broke that shit up for me, and then you didn't even stay with the bitch. You left her. What was the point of that? You could have just left her alone. You scandalous. You literally broke up your brother's happy home for nothing. When you didn't even have to mess with Shorty, you could have left her alone. You didn't even have to try to do nothing with her. You could have left her alone. But JT being JT, thinking it's cool. Like that's crazy. And then you circle back. You circle the block on old girl that you cheated on. Like JT was real scandalous, bro. Like real scandalous. I'm sorry. JT was probably my least favorite character in the movie, next to Flash. He had to be. Flash and Bird definitely got on my nerves. Like, yeah. If I had to put them, let's see, I would say Flash, Bird, Eleanor, JT, and Dresser got on my nerves. Them 5 got on my nerves. Because Dresser was a grown ass man who was just hanging around a bunch of kids, it felt like. Him and Eddie. I feel like they was grown ass men. But Dresser, he got on my nerves because when he found out old girl was pregnant, he I get it's a real thing to go through, but at the same time, like why would you want to leave a group that's making you money because she pregnant? You about to put your family in more turmoil. Like what the fuck? That was stupid. You idiot. But without further ado, y'all know when I conclude the film I gotta rate it. So let's rate it on the 5 category scale that I just opened up, which is, storyline, cast, relativeness, enjoyableness, learning level. So with storyline, I had to give it a 5 because the storyline was epic. It was a top tier movie with great jams, great concept, of the ups and downs in the music industry, and also what it's like to grow up with people that you do music with and that you grow a career with, and how they can easily change or turn on you, or how your own family can do you grimy, and how the music business really can turn you into something that you really might not be. For example, Choir Boy. He wasn't a sinner like that. He got into that music life. His father disowned him. He became a real big sinner. Eddie was already on the verge. The brotherly chemistry that JT and Duck got to exude, even though they really were brothers in the movie. But you felt the real brotherly chemistry from all of them. But really, Duck and JT. Cast, I think it was a phenomenal cast. I gave it a 5 out of 5. Everyone to me did a great job, except for Flash. I did not like Flash. I did not like Flash. Me no like Flash. And Bird, I didn't like his stage presence, like his mimic or his mocking of being a music um performer. It was trash to me. So, but other than that, the rest of the movie was great. Picking the cast was good though. The cast picking was wonderful. Everybody played their part to a T. Everybody worked their magic with their part. Relativeness, for me, a three. For the world, a five. For me, it's a three because I don't really resonate with the male aspect of this movie, but more so the creative side, the creative struggles, uh the back and forth battles between identity, but the male aspect, like the brotherly issues, the messing with girls, that girl, this girl, and you know that I didn't have a relativeness to, but I feel like the rest of the world can. The rest of the world, meaning the rest of the men in the world, can. So I gave it a five for the rest of the world, but for me it was a three. Enjoyableness, five. There's no way that you can watch this movie, to me personally, and not watch it all the way through. Like it captures your attention, even though some parts do jump around and you be like, well, what the fuck, what does that have to do with this? There are some parts in the movie to do that. Like I said, the part with Duck and old girl, that part between him and that, to me still, it's unanswered about a lot. Like, because when she told him, I don't think you should come around here no more, I never seen her see him come. So I pause. I never seen her see him, at the house. So I was kind of confused what she was talking about, because I'm like, how often do you see him at your house but don't say that? I don't know. It was confusing. Him and her part was kind of confusing. Um, so I don't know. That part was a little confusing to me. Uh, um, Big Red and Eddie Kane had some of the most memorable parts in the movie. Big Red with my office hours are from 9 to 5, hanging niggas out the window over a balcony. Big memorable part, like I said, Eddie Kane with the Lang and nights like this. Like it was just enjoyable. I mean, I just really enjoyed watching the movie. It's something I can turn on again and watch again, and not be like, oh, turn this movie off. You know. Um. Oh, also Duck and his sister and Duck and JT's sister, that singing part, that was also top tier. That was top tier. The music in this movie was top tier to me. Learning level, a two. There's not really much that I learned from this movie. There was no learning aspect for me here. Maybe like, no, because not even that. But for the world, most people watch this movie and learn that, you know, family can do you wrong just as much as the next person can, as a stranger can. And that business is business. Not everything is meant for you to take personal. Some of that shit, like for example, Jimmy, business is business, and you knew how Big Red was. So when you went in business with Big Red, you should have seen that coming. So for me, Jimmy kind of put himself in a bad position because really, you could have either not went with Big Red and found another record label, or you could have went with Big Red knowing there's consequences that came with it, which was you would have to give up the crew eventually, you know? But business is business. I hate to say it, but business is business. Um, Another thing too that I would say was a learning level is stop allowing your emotions to build up so bad to where you can't control them when you have an outburst. Cause that's the problem the Duck had. Duck, instead of Duck saying something in the beginning of JT, he waited until it was boiling over to say something. And then not only that, you you went years without saying anything to your brother because you were upset about him messing around with a chick that really didn't like you in the first place. Because if she did, she would have never slept with your brother. Point blank in the period. So there's that. Um, but yeah, there's that. Movie got a 20 out of 25 from me. Like I said, it was a great movie. There, every character in the movie was battling some type of identity issues. Um, Duck and JT um had sibling issues. One gets the girl, one doesn't get the girl that easy. One's a lover boy, one's a shy boy, for real, for real. One get the draws, the other one kind of got to fight to get the draws, if you will. Because if you see at the end of the movie, JT had a wife, Duck still unmarried because he was still salty about his brother stealing this bitch a few years back. Um, Duck. allowed people to run over him way too much, and then waited till he couldn't take no more to explode. JT realized all his wrongdoings at the wrong point. It was too late by the time he realized all his wrongdoings. He had already screwed over the one person he shouldn't have screwed over. He screwed over, and it was too late. Um, Choir Boy, Choir Boy needed to be free and experience life in a different realm, but he did not stay rooted in believing in Jesus while he was going where he was going. And that's what made him end up having to go back to the church when he realized he went too far away from God and was doing ungodly things on the road. Um Dresser, like I said, I think he was too damn old to be around them young niggas. He was still in search of how to be a man too, I guess. So maybe that's why he fit right in with him. I don't know. But he already had a woman. He was getting ready to become a father, and he just really, if it wasn't for Eddie and Duck, he really would have fucked his life off if he would have left the group. And he was struggling with, that's what I said, they always struggling with some type of identity crisis. Because Dresser just really didn't understand how to accept his identity of becoming a father. He almost let it ruin his career. Eddie, he was so fucked up from the jump. His father just had him fucked up from the jump, unfortunately. So it was just Eddie just did not have a solid rooted foundation anymore because his daddy just had him fucked up from the jump. His mama loved him, but his daddy really didn't. So he kind of just didn't have an equal balanced household for real. Um in the end, they all needed to grow up. All of them needed to grow up. They all were young men trying to be men. They were young boys trying to be men in a man's world with no guidance, no acceptance, no experience, no accountability, no one to really, because even Jimmy didn't really hold them to a higher degree. He didn't make them be men. He just made sure that they knew how to handle business, but he didn't make them be men. He didn't help them develop in being a man, because if he did, a lot of shit they doing, they wouldn't have done. So to me, he really didn't help them develop as a man. Um, a lot of them spent the entire movie trying to figure out how to be a man at their own cost, own experience, and own experience. And it took us some of them a little bit longer than others, but they eventually all got there. But overall, like I said, the movie was good. If you've never seen it, you probably should see it. Um, Something that is a good coming of age story for any young man in the music industry or out the music industry to see. Well, with that, I thank you all for tuning in to another episode of Movies with Tay. It's been my pleasure. I've been your host, The Real Taylor Nicole. I thank you guys for tuning in. Argue with your mama and see you next week. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Thank you.